And then, yeah, and you'll have to upload this to Slack for me.
I can do that.
Cool. Did everybody get a chance to read the articles? Or I'm sure you've read them at some point. They're in the level 1. At least the first one is.
Do you guys list these out somewhere? Because I haven't seen what you guys were reading.
Yeah, so if you go to the schedule channel on Slack,
Okay.
that's where we posted it. So that's where I had the Zoom link, and then I'll, Jason or myself or whoever will throw whoever's name is Toby. They're my office people. That will put the articles there. So today we're gonna talk about the foundations article, and then a beginner's guide to CrossFit if we have time. Did you just tag her in that?
Yeah, I just tagged you in that,
no.
Hannah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you all have read the foundations article. It's in the L1 manual. It's like the second article in there, I think. But there's a lot in there. So I figured we'd kind of dive through that and kind of talk about what it means from like the 10,000 foot view, and then also dig into anything, if there's any questions, from like a more L3 kind of perspective, the deeper understanding of it. If you have any questions on that, we'll dig in. So I know, Hannah, I don't think you've been on one of these before, but it's very informal.
Okay.
So I think,
it's been a good 2.5, almost 3 months since I've been on one. So
yeah, so speak up if you have questions. I mean, we're not perfect by any means, but we do tend to get carried away. So, if there's something you want to cover, we'll get to it. So yeah, I guess let's just dive right on in. Hey, for the first one, it starts off, and the very first thing it says is CrossFit is a core strength and conditioning program. And I guess my first question is what does that mean to you guys? Just that first sentence.
it's all encompassing. That's what that kind of means to me.
Mm-hmm. And they talk about it lower in the article too. Just, the heading, just what is a core strength and conditioning program? And I feel like, Christian, you have a unique kind of background with this, because I mean, as a teacher, you have to do a lot of the core curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
I like that as one of the needs. It's the stuff that you need, whereas an extracurricular is outside of the core curriculum. The sports, the arts, whatever that. But yeah, I just thought that what does a core strength and conditioning program mean? That's the essence of it. But
yeah, well, I mean, even to tie that, I mean, to elaborate on what you said with the core curriculum, like just like with education, education is usually talked about core curriculum being like English, science, math, and social studies. And with that, like they're all broad. But that's sort of what CrossFit is too. But instead of those 4, we have like the 10 general physical skills, or we have other ways to, articulate our program. But all of it's in such a way that it is broad, and it's like we are encompassing everything, and we're not specialists, we're generalists. And just like in education, you can dive down some of those rabbit holes and be, an elite weightlifter, or, a marathon runner. But we want to have this like solid foundation before we pursue anything like that.
Yeah, that's great.
Kind of like basics, I guess, right? Basics, and then it's leading straight into our foundational movements, right? Or all of those definitions. Has anybody seen the lectures, the level 1 lectures, like I think you can like purchase it. They're kind of the same thing that we already have in like that giant CrossFit library of YouTube videos, but it has like Chuck does like the foundations, and I mean it's pretty good stuff.
Did you get that, Kapua?
What's that?
Did you buy that?
So somebody else is studying for their level 1, and they bought it. So, yeah. We've been watching them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Do you think it's worth it?
To use somebody else's. No.
Okay.
I personally think they're all available already, but it was like pretty concise. I mean, Chuck does a good job. And what was interesting was like, then I saw a version of Chuck doing it. I saw a version of Glassman doing it. I saw a version of like so many different, and they all do it a little different too, right? And they all explain it a little different. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
it's needed that they make that accessible, because like for other people, like we're all nerds on here, and we'll all go and dig for it. You know, if you had a member or somebody who's just interested and it's like available for $200 to see this all, like they'd probably be more inclined.
Yeah. And even to go back and listen to it. But cool.
Or you
I think
go
that's
back and listen to it, and then you read this foundations thing. It's like, oh yeah, got it.
makes a little bit more sense. Yeah.
Well, this whole foundation thing was interesting, and I would like to know when this was made in relation to the level 1, because like this just feels like it is the level 1, right? But like written in like 8, like if we could describe the level 1 in 8 pages, like this is about as concise as you could get.
Mm-hmm. This was written
as
in
concise as you can get.
April of 2002 is when this was written.
Yeah, so I wonder if they even had the level 1 then. Probably not.
It's a good question. Because level 1 was just like an amalgamation of journal articles, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's like how it started, is he wrote all these articles and he's like, this is important, let's throw that in there. And I agree, this was a really, it's meaty, it's good, it's got a lot of stuff in there. But yeah, I guess that was a good, I like that with Christian, what you said with like the broad but general, you know, the core stuff. And then one of the other things that I kind of pulled out of this first one is the 10 recognized fitness domains. And then my question to you guys was, are there more than 10? You know, there's 10 that are recognized. What are your thoughts on that? And I am looking for an answer here from somebody, like a specific answer for like an L3 purpose. So let's see what you guys got.
Well, where did you see this?
It says deliberate attempt to optimize physical competence in each of 10 recognized fitness domains.
What page are you on?
It's like the very first page, I believe.
Yeah, first paragraph.
What's the first paragraph?
It's 6. It's page 6 in the L2. But yeah, I think it's the first paragraph.
Where
10 recognized fitness domains.
Yeah. So it's like literally the second sentence.
Yeah. No, I see it. Last sentence of the first paragraph.
Yep. So the question is are there more? Are there less? And I guess I want to hear your thoughts.
Seems like there's more, but they could fit into these.
Okay. Anybody else? Hannah, you wanna or Devin
Sorry,
wanna weigh in?
I'm trying to find it in the level 2
Oh, you're
because I
good.
can't pull it up on my phone.
I know Christian probably knows what I'm looking for. And this kind of goes to the, you know, the four models, 3 models, however you want to describe it, of fitness and the whole idea of CrossFit here. And I guess, I don't know.
Somebody
Christian,
else
I don't know if you,
can chime in.
yeah, if you want to chime in, Christian, see if you can pick up what I'm trying to put down.
Well, I mean, these are the 10 general physical skills.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're
Are there
getting?
more? Well, yeah, are there more? Are there less? What is this the end all be all?
These are the 10 that we talk about.
Mm-hmm. I guess what I'm getting at.
Yeah, what are you
not being clear about it? Is if these are in fact the only 10, if in fact there's actually 3, or if there's 30, who cares? We want to be balanced in all of them, right? So that's kind of what I was getting at. Like the idea of CrossFit is breadth and depth and balance. So, and he mentions this a lot, Greg Glassman, that is, when he's talking about the metabolic pathways, and he says, oh, they found a 4th. Who cares? There could be 8. We want to be good in all of them. And I think that's something that's important to think of or keep in your mind moving forward, that regardless of what it is, balance is pretty much the CrossFit's name, or CrossFit way. Nutrition, we're looking for a balance of macronutrients. Programming, balance. Skills, drills, technique, all that stuff. We're looking for a balance. So I think that's a really important thing to kind of keep in mind.
Well, that even goes back to a conversation we've had before about Chris Hinshaw's 13 gears. And it's like, are there more? Are there less? Does everybody have 13 gears? Can you develop 13 gears? And it's like, well, it's fairly irrelevant unless we're, Rich Froning, and we're, this is our livelihood. It's pretty irrelevant. It's like, are you doing short workouts? Are you doing long workouts? Are you doing medium workouts? Do you have a heavy day? Do you have a practice day? And this is all the same thing. It's like, that's sort of getting into the weeds. But when we actually start to practice this, like, are we doing a little bit of everything?
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly it. Cool. Any questions on that first chunk? I mean, it kind of talks about that, our athletes are trained to bike, run, swim, and row at short, middle, and long distances. Yeah. Kind of what you're saying there.
Well, and it's even, I mean, we know this, it's even also there, we're trained to bike and do weightlifting or row and then do jump ropes. And it's like, it's not just the long, medium, short, medium, long. It's also like, can you do it with other things?
Yeah. If you only deadlift on, or you only weightlift on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or sorry, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and run on Tuesday, Thursday, I'll tell you what you're bad at on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Yeah, for sure. And I hear, a common joke I get for people who don't work out, they'll be like, "Oh, I'll run when I need to, or I'll run when somebody's chasing me." I'm like, "No, you won't, because you don't run. Like,
right.
You won't be able to do it when it matters." And then that's the same idea. Is like, if you're not running, you're not running.
100%. Because I'm not running right now. Now I gotta run. Thanks, Christian.
Is it already winter in the UP?
It's full on fall for sure. I'm looking out the window and it's very red and orange and yellow. So we could have snow anytime. We've had snow in early October before, so it's not unheard of.
Dan.
Yeah. Are you gonna do a day by day replay of the snow melting this time?
I can. I tell you, last winter, this is a sidebar, I'm sorry for everybody, but like last winter was so weird. We got snow right away in like October 16th, and we almost had no snow for pretty much the rest of the year. And then we got 90% of our snow in a 10-day period in February.
Wow.
We went from having like a foot on the ground to like 5 feet in like 10 days. And then it hung on until mid-April. It was insane. So yeah.
It's pretty cold here too. The volcano just erupted yesterday.
What?
I saw that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, not like exploded, but it's glowing and it's oozing again, and
nice.
It gets all exciting. The other thing too, what we talked about last week about the 10 skills, right? How they train each other, or how practicing some benefits the other ones, and yeah, just the breadth and depth on that one. I think the level 3 should be described as like the breadth and depth of CrossFit. Like,
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, that is a good way to put it.
If you don't like breathe it and take it all in and come to this group and process it, then
I mean, that's a really good analogy. I mean, you got to be pretty good at pretty much everything. So you got to know a little bit about nutrition, a little bit about programming, a little bit about the theoretical side. Yeah, I never thought about it that way, but I like that. Well, cool. Let's move on to an effective approach. That little paragraph there. I only pulled like 1 or 2 sentences out of there. The main thing that I thought interesting that we say we work exclusively with compound movements and shorter high intensity cardiovascular sessions. And I kind of disagreed with that a little bit, because balance, we do want to go long from time to time. But we go on to say that the compound or functional movements and high intensity or anaerobic cardio is radically more effective at eliciting nearly any desired fitness result. And then what does that kind of bring into your mind when you think about, more effective at eliciting nearly any desired fitness result? That should kind of ring a bell to you.
It's that's power. That's large loads, long distances.
Exactly. We say it a different way, independent variable that maximizes the rate of return of favorable adaptation to exercise.
Yeah.
But exactly, it's power, it's intensity. And I mean, it's in there, high intensity. But that kind of got me thinking about the whole anaerobic versus aerobic argument. And if you are interested at all about that kind of stuff, I wrote down 5 different articles that are phenomenal at kind of covering different aspects of that. So if you are interested, and I definitely recommend you read those before taking the L3 or even after taking the L3. But the paradox of aerobic fitness prescription.
That's a good
VO2,
one.
yeah, it's really good. VO2 max, not the gold standard, question mark. The myth of the fat burning zone. What about cardio and rest and recovery in interval-based exercise? Those 5 articles really kind of dive into the myth that long, slow distance is the best for, fat burning or exercise, and kind of really explains more like why we do what we do in CrossFit. Some of that stuff. So I would
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I would just urge people to read those. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say too, I think those are important, not just from like a level 3 theoretical, but I think it's also useful to know for your members, because we all have members who get a bug in their butt and they're like, I want to get better at running. And so I'm going to spend extra time running outside of the gym. And then you ask them, you're like, what are you doing? It's like, well, I'm running 3 to 5 miles every day. It's like, okay, well, you're going to get better at running 3 to 5 miles, but it's like, you're going to very quickly plateau. You're not going to get the results that you want. You're not going to improve your time. And being able to communicate that with them. Because if anything, that's probably just going to lead them into injury and not give them the adaptation that they're looking for, because they don't know that intensity equals results, not just more equals results.
Did you write those articles down somewhere?
I have them. Yeah, I can put them in the list, or I can send them out to everybody. Yeah, I mean, they're good articles, and I'm pretty sure, and I've mentioned this before on calls.
Mm-hmm.
All
of them, if not all of them, are in the level 3, right?
Some of them
Not
are
the rest
in
of the
level 3.
recovery ones.
Yeah, a lot of the really old articles, like pre-2007, are like gold. There's some really good stuff in there.
Yeah.
Not that the newer articles aren't bad, but a lot of these old original articles, written by Glassman, by Tony Budding, by some of these other founders of the sport, if you will, they're really good, and there's a lot of good nuggets in there.
The Julie Fouché video, remember the one where they like measure her? He like breaks down all the bombs too at the end of that. Like, it's basically like what category she was using in each of those or during the workout, after the workout.
She's doing Fran, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had one of those tests done?
No, have you?
Yeah. So Ticker Fitness,
Yeah, I've heard of that.
they came to Hawaii right before I left, and she did one of those tests, and it's amazing to see. But they are more about trying to get you into that primal state of fat burning, right?
Yeah.
Rather than, so to get you there, they'll use whatever method they can, whether it's CrossFit or whether it's biking only, whether it's this, whether it's that. And they really want you to dial in the nutrition to get that way. So like for me, I burn more carbs than anything. And they wanted to see during that time, they wanted to see me burning more fat. And so basically they were saying the way that you do that is to eat more fat. And I don't eat a whole lot of fat in my diet. I try to stick to mostly proteins and carbs. But anyway, it's a really neat thing to look into if you guys ever have the chance. And she's willing to come to gyms and do like this trial with any members that are interested in getting tested. So just something to think about if you guys ever want to go down that rabbit hole.
That's neat. I've heard about that.
But very, very hard to breathe, very hard to do.
I'm sure. Yeah. Cool. Well, any questions on that approach? I mean, I feel like that's pretty cut and dry, right? That's why we do what we do. Otherwise, we do something different. The next section, is this for me? I mean, what do you say when people when people ask you this. I'm sure
Yeah,
you've gotten that question before.
What was Glassman's thing? Not for everybody, but everybody should do it. Do you remember what it was? He like differentiated the whole CrossFit's for everyone, or anyone can do CrossFit.
Yeah, it's something like it's for everyone, but not where it's for anyone, but not for everyone.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a great answer, right? Layman's terms, yes, it is for you. Try it out. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. But and I think the big thing there, you've heard this said a lot, I'm sure, your needs in the Olympic athletes differ by degree, not kind. All right, grandma needs to squat. But yeah.
And then the whole idea behind the all right, come on, what's the prescription, right? That it doesn't change whether you're grandma or the 14-year-old that just left. You still get the same prescription, you still scale accordingly, you still do all those 100 words of fitness.
Yeah. I think that's pretty simple. That is it for me. The next one, who has benefited from CrossFit? I thought that this was a good answer to the previous question, right? Because it says, pretty much everybody can and has done CrossFit. It's going to work for everybody. So I don't know if we need to necessarily go too much to that one.
We get a lot of firefighters. You guys get a lot of like people training to become firefighters, or it must be a common thing that they're like, oh, what do you do to train to become a firefighter? Like, let's do something like CrossFit, or I don't know. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I do find it kind of funny though. I have a couple friends that have CrossFitted, and they just recently went in and did the testing for firefighting, and they said they aced it compared to everybody else that was in this group that was with them. They were like smoking everybody, and they're like, what do you do? Well, I CrossFit. And that's exactly like they said, it was a piece of cake compared to a CrossFit workout.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and yeah, I'm sure we're all unsurprised.
Yeah, I had a guy at my very first gym. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go, you can go ahead.
I say at my very first gym, we had a guy, he was in his 40s and volunteer firefighter, went in for his test, and he was beating 18-year-old kids. And he's like, come on, guys.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
When they talk about, I don't know if it was this article or the other one, but they talked about that an 80-year-old athlete will be stronger than, an 18-year-old non-athlete.
Wow.
1%, the 1%. We have a couple like National Guard or like Army men, whatever you want to call it, service guys here, and the base is really close to our gym. So they'll come and do their PT hour. They'll come and do their PT hour here and just do a class. But so they said they just changed. It used to be like a 1 mile run for time, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups. They just changed it to be more functional, which is pretty cool, I thought, because that's where like CrossFit comes from, is like the training that they did, lots of like Marine stuff. So they just started to, one of the guys got to participate in the test of it. It was a run, then it was a drag, and then it was like almost like some cleans or something. So he said it was like a lot more CrossFit-y. I want to say there were even pull-ups instead this time. So I don't know, it was interesting, more functional, I guess.
There's like a weird like knees to elbow hanging at the bar.
That's the Army one.
Yeah, the Army one.
And he said, I would have never known how to do that if I hadn't been in here like working my little bit of my kip, or like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's very different the way that they do it, because you have to lean back, and it's just it's a very different movement. But it's good to see that they're throwing something different in there, because the other one was just
That's even though it's different and they express they're able to do it, that's because our program's transferable. And that's what we talk about with functional movements, that it's like you don't have to do everything to be able to do everything.
Yeah. And that's why I like it, right? I want to be able to go out and run a marathon tomorrow. Not going to do well, but I'll be able to finish it. That's
Right.
Yeah, or if a friend asks me like, hey, I want, my friend wants to do an obstacle course and they want me to do it with him, like, I'm not going to train for this obstacle course. Like, we'll just show up and we'll get it done. And, we're not going to win, but I know we'll be fine.
Yeah. You might pay
Yeah.
for it for a couple of days, but you'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's yeah.
I always
Cool.
tell my husband, aren't you glad you married somebody strong? Because otherwise you'd have to like hire people to move this furniture. Like we're moving furniture up 2 flights of stairs. Like, what would you do
Yeah.
if I was a weak woman?
Oh,
don't
I
know
for
what you-
sure have my wife help me over. I'll pick my wife over any guy that doesn't work out. Like if you,
I'll take Jersey Tony's wife. She gets the work done.
Oh, please, no.
He's not here. We can make fun of him.
I want to
All
know
right.
who does Jersey Tony's wife get to help her move the couch up the stairs? That's what I want to know.
Right? The kids.
The kids. It's the army of kids that help her carry the couch out there.
I
He'll
He'll hang
just,
banners. He'll hang all the pictures.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, poor kid.
Damn, we're gonna have to tag him in this one, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, let's move on then. This next one I really like, your current regimen. And the reason I like this is I don't know how many of you have heard this. It's like, well, I need to get in shape before I start CrossFit.
Yeah, like come on.
And so I guess, what are your thoughts on those people? What do you say to those people to get them to come in? Because we all know it's not going to matter.
Just come. Just let me walk you through your first day. Let me show you what it's like, but yeah, it's so true. So many people want to get in shape before they come. I'm going to run. I got to start doing some running so I can come to CrossFit. I'm like, don't, dude. It's like the worst thing I ever seen when somebody's like, they're like, I just got to start moving. So they start running. And it's like, this looks terrible. This looks sad.
I ask them why. Like, why do you feel like you need to get fit to come to a place to get fit? And most of the time it seems like it comes from a place of like embarrassment.
Confidence.
They want to show up thinking that they don't know how to do everything, and then just try to express to them like it's not going to happen. Like the only way you'll know how to do this stuff is to show up and do this stuff.
Right. The hardest thing is walking through the door.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like we know it just takes a couple classes for them to realize nobody's looking at you, but they're all cheering for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the important thing on this too is I like all those answers a lot. And it's like what you're doing is not going to hurt you, right? Unless you get injured. Like anything is better than nothing. And especially in today, it's like if anybody is getting off their butt and going for a run, hey, more power to them. Now, is that the best thing in the world for them? Maybe not. Let's get to doing CrossFit instead, but they're not wasting their time per se. It's better than doing nothing. I think that's really important to have that. And that's one of the things that I've kind of taken that mindset. And I used to be very strict. The workout is written like this. You will do it like this. And it must be done in this order and all that. And I've really, especially through this group, just like, you know what? Fitness is going to happen, whether or not you do it in the order it's supposed to be done. And that's been a big improvement in my own coaching and view of things is like, you know what? Who cares? You're working out. That's better than not working out. You're late. Who cares? You made it here. Get on the bike, catch up in the warm up. Like, I think that's helped me grow as a coach is that it's better than nothing, even if it's not exactly how it should be in my type A brain.
And it's helpful for the athletes too. Like because they get bogged down in their own mind. They're like, oh, well, I screwed up the workout. Like, how'd you screw up the workout? And they're like, oh, well, I messed up the reps or I, did whatever. And I'm like, well, did you do, thrusters, your version of thrusters and pull-ups? And did it take you less than 7 minutes? They're like, yeah. Well, then you did the workout. Like, what is that? That's all we were going for today. It's like, so what if you did, 25 thrusters, then 10, and then 7 or whatever you did to screw it up? Like, you did it in about 7 minutes and it was good.
Or the if you get in class with somebody, right? If you're the coach or the owner or whatever, you get in class and then I always get somebody coming up like, I'm like, hey, good job. Yeah, but I did the 15 bar. And I'm like, was it too easy? No, I'm like, perfect. Then, right? Good. Right there.
how many of you guys follow Cap?
Yeah, I do.
I know a couple. Yeah. So Tuesday's workout with the row and the jump rope. I had a woman who's like, "Oh, I totally forgot to double my jump rope reps." I'm like, but that was probably perfect for what you needed to do. She's like, "I messed it up." I'm like, "No, you finished exactly when you needed to. You got a good workout in, and you worked on jump rope. You got your double unders. That's awesome." And so yeah, that's like fitness happened. So
Hey, speaking of that workout, how many of you? So I have a guy. He pulls 40 strokes a minute every time we row.
Jeez.
Wow.
And he's fast. And so every time I try to tell him, he just tell every time it messes with my breathing. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And so we had that workout. Well, now he's pulling 15 strokes every workout. And I'm like, that's not how it works, Craig.
Goldilocks it.
Yeah.
I don't even think I could row at 40 strokes per minute.
So like we had that partner workout last week with the row and handstand push-ups, and he pulled 50 calories in a minute 40, but then he laid in front of the fan for 3 minutes. And I was like, he does it every workout, and he'll come up to me, he'll be like, "Hey, I beat you on the road today." I'm like, that's not how this works at all, because there's
How'd that work for you?
Yeah, 80%
Yeah.
work still left.
What programming are you guys following? Everybody follows the same one?
We just happen to all three follow the CrossFit affiliate programming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
what used to be hand plan.
Tony
Oh,
and I
okay.
did where it was cool. So
Yeah,
I
We're
really
on it.
liked Tuesday's workout. That was cool.
I thought it was it was different.
yeah.
Yeah, and you don't get that a lot.
How
Did you
many
guys follow Ham Plan before?
I did
And
not.
Just
Yeah, we
transferred
did.
over, or you did?
Yeah, we followed since last June.
Have any of you tried a marathon row before?
I'm gonna do it this year.
No.
No, we've done it the last 2 years, and my biggest advice is like 15 to no more than 18 strokes a minute.
Mhm.
Just like let that rower glide, and
Where do you put your damper super low?
I put mine on like 4 or 5.
Oh, okay.
Low
Yeah,
5.
keep mine how I normally do it.
I tell my athletes never over 6. There's almost no instance where you need it up higher than that.
Yeah, I've told them, like, if you're gonna do max distance for 5 poles, put it at 10. It's like, other than that, it's between 4 and
Mhm.
6.
Yeah,
Cool.
I would highly suggest like having something to pad your bottom. Are you guys about to do a marathon row or something? Is that coming up? Is that why you asked?
No, we do it.
Awesome.
I was thinking of the stroke rate
Mm.
Oh, okay.
distances.
All right. Yeah, no, I rode for calories for a fundraiser before, 3,000 calories. And it wound up turning out to be 57,711 meters in 5 hours, like 13 minutes. And it was awful, but
Now you're
it was done. I got my little badge from Concept 2. That was pretty cool.
Worth it.
But
Totally.
I definitely had blisters on my feet and on my hands.
Mm.
Butt goes numb. So
Tony, make sure whatever shoes you wear don't have a heel clip. Like the nanos seem to rub people
raw.
raw.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I agree.
We do like long distance outrigger paddling here. So when we watch that roll in the games, we got to watch it, and it was just how people's bodies start breaking down in rowing.
Mm.
You know, like you see it in running, right? Like we have the Ironman here, and like the funnest thing to do is watch the people coming in. It's not fun, but you know, like
You're a mean version of fun.
I know. Sorry. But so the same thing for the rowing though, but you can see like how people's bodies start breaking down, like where there's too much hinging, and because we do long distance paddling, it was pretty cool to watch and just like, oh, there it is. Yep. Cramp in the thigh or whatever, you know, and you got to keep on going, even though, like you said, you got blisters on your fingers or your butt or
Tony, we have less than a minute. Do you want to restart this?
Yeah, let's restart and use that same link. We'll come right back on and just carry on.
Cool.
Yeah, good catch.